like a big one. It's like Huber has a lot of skill expression in this game. I think I actually favor Saigon because I don't like the early game. I feel like it's really, really rough to try to manage this early game if you're Leash and the rest of this team. And it's something that can be snowballed by Saigon a lot easier. So I'm going to give them a slight advantage here.
I am actually for Cerberus. I mean, Gangplank gets prio until level 5 into Gnar. Mid lane can contest prio, and bot lane should definitely get prio because Renata into Rakan is pretty doomed early on. Which then means, I mean, you have to contest Sivir, of course, on her pushing power, but you should be able to do that with Renata E. And then, I think Cerberus has a good early game. They have a much better late game. I think their team comp, if they manage to be first on objectives, is basically unbeatable in team fights. If Froggy doesn't get like a huge flank or something. So I would actually give it to Cerberus. I think they have a much better team fighting comp here.
Okay, so Saigon, Harry Buffalo running into Cerberus, as you said. They need to sneak her around. Can they find the trapdoor to the 2-0? We're handing it to our favorite wizards, Kagrid and Mr. Dumbleway. Check it out. It seems that we are running
I think Mr. Kagrid is not here. I can't see him on his camera.
You made it disappear with some wizard. That's the invisible claw.
Apparently.
Right?
Well, I'll take it anyway. Thank you very much. Analyst Desk was very cool to listen to you. And Clockwork, your transitions today, I'm in love with them. Thank you very much. I'm Dumbleway, and trying to lead you through this game with a lot of different champions. And last time, we see another attempt at Rakan. I am personally not very impressed with this champion right now, even though it's one of my most played of all time, because every time it's picked right now on this patch, I feel like across the globe, it just does not look like it's doing much. And let's see if Taki can have a little bit of a better performance than last game, where he was struggling a lot with the Leona, especially in the early parts of the game. And this time around, I think he should be, paired with the Sivir, maybe he's able to get out of lane a little bit more than the last game. It's also the Ghost Sivir, so trying to index into the late game from Shogun as well. I'm not sure if he started Cull as well, which might be the same strategy that Artemis employed last game to get to his items as quickly as possible and ignore the first 10 minutes of the game as much as he can. I'm focused on Leash right now because we have seen many iterations of this Trundle, and especially in the LEC, I think Yo-Yo yesterday was interviewed about the Trundle level 2 gank into bot lane, which he said is something you should never do in solo queue, but is very strong and competitive. So let's see if Leash also watched some LEC do this, as there's some early aggression from Saigon Buffalo's bot lane. That's a huge trade onto Hugh, and he bit back on them. Nope. And of course, Falia's level 1. Sometimes he's very strong in matchups when he has the range advantage, but he doesn't have an ability. So if you can actually engage on his support and kind of ignore him like they did here, you get an advantageous trade in terms of HP. Let me see if my fellow wizard has it.
There's a fire in my neighbor's apartment.
Oh my god.
Not too bad, he just set his stove on fire and needed help, so I just had to run over there. Sorry about that, everyone. How's the early game going?
Well, we didn't see the famous bot lane level 2 gank from Leash, which I was kind of looking out for, so right now we're just looking at another very slow early farming game, and my eyes are on Taki. Can he ever get out of this laning phase now? Because I can tell you, every single Rakan hates playing with a Sivir player, because the Sivir player just wants to farm, the Rakan player wants action, because farming on Rakan is not very enticing.
No, it's not. But this is Taki. You know he doesn't spend very much time in bot lane if he doesn't have to. He's willing to spread his wings, take that Rakan wherever it goes. Here is the level 3 gank. Husband can get away from
dangerous.
It. And with BJ here, things can go very wrong. Flash away from Leash.
A good flash from Leash, but that's already quite critical. Now BJ has the first jump on the... Oh, that was so nicely done. Very quick on that Scuttle Crab. So Leash was actually almost in range there, but because he didn't have the flash, wasn't able to close the gap. Now BJ, this is super obvious, of course. He just took the crab underneath Leash's eyes. So Yado, if Yado dies to this gank, that's a report right there. Oh no.
Yeah, but he does. So he gets away. But if you can defuse this Trundle early game, you're really happy with that as SGB. You don't actually need to turn the kill around yourself. You just want to stop him getting one.
Well, yeah, it's not like Trundle has to get early kills, right? And he still has a lot to work with. It's not really a level 6 spiking jungler in terms of his ganking potential. Great gank. You love to play against... Okay, what is going on here?
Okay, looks like an engage was found from Taki. But just a lot of damage onto Artemis as another Boomerang Blade hits just as we get down there.
Just everything glowing in purple because Artemis had his purple gun out. So it actually looked much more exciting than it was. Just a little bit of a scuffle in the bot lane. Sivir getting the advantage, like in the last game. A little bit of a different matchup. Aphelios, of course, a little bit more potent in early trades compared to Zeri. Zeri is barely a champion early on in the game, but Sivir still has insane shove, especially using her Q, which is usually the first max as well, as you can see. Investing some early points into that Q ability. So, yeah, as expected, Saigon Buffalo getting the early push, and I'm still looking at Taki, especially now that the first reset is going to come in soon. Where is he gonna go? What is this?
Leash is here. I think they're trying to get a good reset timing for Artemis, so they just bring Leash down to shove the wave in.
This actually opens up Dragon for Saigon Buffalo now, because Leash just went to the bot side. He can't really stay on bot side for too much longer. He could... it would be a huge investment of time if he tries to contest this next Dragon. He has 2 camps up on the bot side, but then there's nothing left. It's completely bare on that side of the map, while... BJ was actually just investing time in top spread. Look at that. He's setting up the top lane gank, and Gangplank is so overextended. If Hasmut gets to level 6, he's dead.
Yeah, but I don't know if he will. He's just going to call down the cannons, trying to 1-for-1. But Hasmed with a flash, this is not going to happen. BJ going a bit low. Good flash to try and get away. But in comes Rakan. Taki surfs on through. And first blood to the Buffalo.
And it finally pays off talking about Taki roaming the whole early game, because here he is first in the top lane. They actually sacrifice the bot lane priority or the dragon priority they had naturally with the junglers moving the way they did. But this, so Leash gets the dragon off this, but he sacrificed a lot of clear time in the top side. Let's focus on that later, because this is the replay. It's a little dicey. At first you think, but then there are 2 more people coming, and Taki really nicely done, just using all his mobility to close more than 2,000 units of range, I think, there. Just nice execute, and that's what we want to see from Rakan. Watching Rakan lane is never interesting. You want to watch him gank and make plays happen, so here he comes, and Taki finally finds some presence in this series.
Yeah, after a pretty quiet game 1 out of Taki, so it's good to see him getting activated early, getting out there on the map, as he even stops Artemis's back, just being an annoying little gnat. Huber. Now, I wanted to... I didn't get a chance because I had to go do some firefighting. Oh, Poss could be in trouble. Hasmed near Mega, but I think with those tower shots, they will call off any play on the top side and Poss lives. But I wanted to ask you, because... We've seen very recently in the LEC last night, Renata essentially counter an entire team comp from G2 up against Vitality, where the Renata basically meant G2 couldn't play the game. I get the feeling that that could happen in this game as well.
Let's see. Oh, okay. We are going for some action here. No, Artemis just firing his ultimate. Not actually that much happening. Renata very far behind in experience compared to Artemis, which is a little bit surprising considering she didn't go for the roam. But yeah, Renata is a super strong counter-engage and zoning champion, right? And Tim talked about this team composition in the late game for Cerberus being, according to him, almost unbeatable. And, I mean, they certainly have a lot to work with. The Renata... It's a very interesting champion in team fights because it's so squishy but has such a huge impact with her ultimate and everything else she provides. But we have a fight right here, right now.
Yep, the junglers looking for their smites. B&J wins it out, and Chunk's leash down low, takes him to 0, lands another double knock-up. SGB are just looking so much better right now. Cerberus are all out of sword.
Oh, it's a complete disaster. They lose everything. This is exactly what happened in Saigon Buffalo against AS Esports on Thursday. An attempt from AS Esports into the top side, into the Rift Herald #1, went horribly wrong and the game was over. History might repeat itself here, because Saigon Buffalo gets off to a 4-0 start. They get the Herald as well, so it's just a win on all ends.
Shocking, by the way.
Let's look at this again.
Just kill the Herald.
Yeah, I mean, Hasmid just gets the freest entry into this teamfight of all time. He gets the stun perfectly as well. And Yado, where's the damage from Yado? It's just not there. He tries to go for the kill on Hasmid. Oh, on the Triumph, just barely enough to bail him out there. And of course, Wukong can chase down any victor on the map, especially this early in the game. So now we have a super strong top side once again from Saigon Buffalo. Really seems to be their focus today. Back to their spring split success. Basically, just focusing topside, leaving bot lane to just farm, and then Shogun can be a hyper carry later on in the game, but we try to make plays around topside, and I think with a Sivir, that's actually the perfect thing to do, because she is gonna get strong no matter what, and it's really hard to actually get her off CS, or zone her away. She has so many range tools, it's so easy for her to just step up in CS, so just completely ignore bot lane, put everything into the top side, and it's working to a T for Saigon Buffalo.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Drathar fan club should be pretty happy with how some of these plays are going, because I think the coordination isn't there, and I think you were pointing it out in Game 1. The communication for Cerberus doesn't seem very good. I think it's time to go back to a one-language team.
Yeah, for me, they're experimenting a little bit too much with their roster. I mean, we're only 4 weeks in, but then again, we only play 7 weeks of regular season. And you could make the argument that they're actually in a good position to make playoffs, but it's not only about making playoffs, right? Once the playoffs hits, you don't actually have that much time to figure out and get better, right? So I would really like to see this team actually stabilize, get to a roster now, because we're halfway into the season. They still need some time to improve on that roster. Swapping rosters back and forth and never getting to one consistent roster or lineup of players is just something I really don't like to see. So I'm not really in agreement with what Cerberus is doing, but I don't know how scrims are going. Maybe they're just really not feeling the other roster. This one does not look very successful so far today.
Well, the other roster wins games, so maybe they should look at that over scrims. But hey, we don't know what the communication's like. This is the roster they have for this one. It's Hasmed. He was the one that actually picked up the Herald, while B&J chased down kills. And into the mid lane we go. Taki sets up a play, and Yado has absolutely no way to counter that.
Look at Saigon Buffalo, they're playing so aggressively, trying to have their cake and eat it too, as top lane is dominating, but they're also looking for teamfights in the bot side. And here we go.
A flash in from Froggy, trying to make this happen. Renata only hits onto Froggy. B&J actually managed to find a little nook where he wouldn't get hit. And onto the dragon they go, and I don't think Cerberus can do anything about this.
And once again, it's a win on both sides of the map. Can Artemis get some kills back? Nope. That's now tower and top lane basically done. They got the top tower down to, I don't know, 100 HP or something. They're 5-0 ahead in kills. They stopped the Dragon Snowball, so even the last resort for Cerberus. Cerberus is a negative impact mid laner right now, as Victor just needs so much more time to scale, but Froggy can just drop waves whenever he wants on the Swain. Swain is not there to hyper carry late game. He can under certain circumstances, but he's already building supportively, so this is just the perfect setup, and I'm kind of getting excited for this team again, because their team fighting, their snap decision making is just so incredible to watch. And on their best, Saigon Buffalo they have this spark that just inspires so much confidence and so much hype.
Well, they're a top 6 team in the world. They came 6th at MSI. They're a top 6 team in the world. That's how that works.
That's
right?
how it works, yeah. No evidence points to anything else, so.
Exactly. But we do zoom back into the VCS, where perhaps they are also a top 6 team, as Hasmed should be able to take down this tower. Actually chooses not to. Wants to keep it up for a little bit longer, just to make sure he gets every minion he can get. It'll take it down on the next wave. He'll get the local gold, unlike a certain someone in the last game. Oh no, don't make me.
He's
lie.
walking too far away. No, husband, no.
No, he comes back in time. He comes back in time. Good. He actually gets the last hit as well, as Taki, once again, looking for a play, immediately burns Yardo's flash.
Yep, and now Yardo is a sitting duck in the next team fight. They're so much engaged. If Froggy gets any CC on him, he pulls him back. He's dead instantly, so Yardo can't even really play the game now. This is just a really, really dangerous situation for Cerberus. They might get 2-0 today, and then suddenly Saigon Buffalo is more than just in touching distance, as we have an invade here. But the CC is just not good enough from Cerberus. They're so slow. Their team composition is not set up for skirmishes, for 2v2s, 3v3s. They are completely looking at the 5v5s. And sure, their 5v5s are amazing, right? They have so much zoning, they have so much damage, they have great disengage, great zone, great control everywhere. But if the enemy team just forces so many scuffles in the early game, you really have to take a step back and not fall for them, because otherwise it's gonna go like this, where we're looking at an almost 5k gold lead at 14 minutes.
Hazmed can't quite steal away that red buff, does go over to Poss. Had to be very careful as Leash was taking that Hex Gate back, but he'll upgrade from a red buff to a purple buff, as he'll be looking for this second Herald. Has already finished his Triforce. I think Poss will probably finish his on this back. You'd hope so, at least. But maybe not. No, he actually cancels the back anyway, so we won't know. Swain has gone for the Imperial Mandate. I actually think that's a good decision in this game, as he doesn't need to be the damage carry.
Yep. I mean, this is just quintessential Froggy. Just being a nuisance, being annoying, being very good in terms of map play and team fighting, and he doesn't really have to do the hyper carrying, because he has Shogun and Hazmat in his team, and even Beanjay, who's having an amazing split. People are kind of sleeping on Beanjay, in my opinion, as we have another engage on Leash.
Another catch from Taki. He has been absolutely on fire on this Rakan, as Shogun just picks up the benefits of his support's work.
Yeah, and I have a question for you, Kerix. Has Science gone too far with first item, Trundle, how's it called again? The Chempunk Chainsword.
So the thing about Chempunk Chainsword,
I know
is
it's
that
good, but on Trundle?
if you mitigate 0 healing, right? Let's pretend you have it against a team that does not heal at all, which doesn't exist in League of Legends, by the way. It is still 125% gold efficient.
Yes, I know
if you
all
mitigate
that.
0 point. Yeah, so I don't think Science has gone too far. I think Leash is in a very low income mode, needs a spike, and Chempunk's a good spike.
Well, I would argue if Chempunk were any other item with a 100% gold efficiency, would still not buy it, because it's he's in a situation where Chempunk, in my opinion, is just not going to give him enough resistance, enough tankiness to play this game, because in this game, he's so far behind, he kind of has to be the frontline for his team. He has an Aphelios and a Victor and a Gangplank to fall back on. Does the Trundle really have to build a damage item when you're already behind in the matchup? I feel like this is a little bit of the flavor of the month build that I have to build because in solo queue it's good, but I'm really questioning if it's good in this game because he's so squishy.
Maybe. Trundle, of course, does sort of get pseudo-tankiness from his ultimate. Now Froggy has to navigate 3. Has the Swain ult, of course. Eating a barrel is not the way to start it off, but using a stopwatch is, and he immediately saves himself.
Yeah, speaking of pseudo-tankiness, there we go. It's Swain.
Yeah, I mean, stopwatch is the best tank item in the game.
True.
No other item in the game will make you live for 3 seconds consistently.
Yeah, and Saigon Buffalo is just snowballing this game so nicely. Cerberus needs to win this play. If they lose this, the game's probably over.
Ooh, out comes the gas from the Renata, but Taki's found his way in. This is a huge play from the Rakan. The Gangplank ult holds them back for just a moment, but Froggy finds his way onto Leash, takes him down. That Chempunk Chainsword doing nothing up against the Grand General of Noxus. Hazmat on the other side picks up his own Poss, the only one left alive. Taki knows where he is, kills his barrel, wants to find a knock-up. You can't orange that. Visions of Empire tags him as well, and in come the Buffalo. to take themselves ahead.
11-0 on the score. Saigon Buffalo is stamping their authority not only on the series, not only on this game, on the whole league. Everyone has to look to this team now. They started horribly, but they're now very likely going to 2-0 Cerberus, breaking the 2-1 curse we are on. Look at Hugh's Flash, or maybe don't look at Hugh's Flash, because that was an attempt at a Flash ultimate from Renata. Potentially the weirdest ultimate to ever flash for, because it's so slow. Even if you flash in their face, it still doesn't connect instantly, and then, I mean, this just reeks of desperation. They are so far behind. Taki even outplays the barrel combo there from Pos. Just takes away the barrel, takes away all the lunch money from this pirate, and look at the gold lead. It's 7k, no, it's 8k now. 11-0. Once again, I have to stress this point, in kills. Saigon Buffalo never plays perfect games in terms of kills. They're always scrappy, but in this game, no one is gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, they're so close to just winning in the perfect game. Nothing has gone right for Cerberus.
Unfortunately, there's a dragon and a tower already secured for Cerberus.
Yeah, unfortunately, so close.
I'm not sure if they're ever gonna secure a kill. Maybe they're going to try and just get one for the morale, but it's already looking more than dire. What happened here?
BJ walks into an Artemis, and yeah, I don't think Artemis actually wins that fight, even with all those chakrams.
Yeah, not quite enough items to win with the with the white gun. Uh-oh.
Oh, Taki once again finding a flank. BJ as well with that Cyclone running. Renata ultimate does a little bit of work, holding Husmed back for just moments. But honestly, they're just way, way too far behind. Can they maintain their perfect deathless record? So far, it definitely looks that way. Leash will get smacked into the wall by Husmed. Taki surfing his way over. Make sure he gets an assist. And 3 members of Cerberus have been beheaded. Baron for SGB. And it's all over but the crying.
It's good that the Chempunk Chainsword there did a little bit of heal reduction, because otherwise there would have been no way for Leash to play the game. No, I'm being very sarcastic and facetious, but I don't think any itemization would have helped him there, to be fair. A little bit more tankiness, I think, would have been the call in this game, but it doesn't really matter, because that's Baron at 20 minutes. Saigon Buffalo is completely obliterating Cerberus, and these two teams are supposed to be very close. These two teams are actually supposed to be maybe not the main title contenders, but certainly in the discussion, and right now it doesn't look like two teams on the same kind of level.
Yeah, it really looks like SGB has figured out their early split woes. They came back from MSI. Honestly, it's something we didn't give them credit for, that I think other regions a little bit better at giving a little bit of slack for, is that teams often come back from MSI a bit slow, right? Because it delays their off-season, it screws with their scrim schedule. Lots of things are sort of the negative of going to MSI. We really didn't give Buffalo that slack, but it seems like they're back on form.
Yeah, and maybe even better than they ever were before, because all of their lanes seem to be performing really, really well. Froggy's not getting solo killed. Hasmid is stomping everything. BJ is on the form of his life, actually back to his 2021 spring form, I would argue, or even better maybe. And the bot lane has only gotten better over the years, so this is just really impressive, and I just love their decision making, their way of just finding kill after kill, fight after fight. And if we have a little bit of time, I actually want to hone in on one specific player, Hasmed. In the very first series of this split, against Cerberus, of course, he got completely destroyed. He entered his face-off on Kale, and now look at him here.
In they go once again. Taki can't find that engage this time, but look at the damage Shogun is able to put out. And in goes the Wukong. In goes the Nah, as Hasmed absolutely destroys the big rock to take down the Renata. He will actually fall. He will be the one Inter on the team, but it is 18-1 as the base comes under attack. Only Pos left to catch them. Shogun is extremely low. Can they actually end? I don't think they can.
No,
but
they go back it's too early. It's too risky, too early. Why give the 0.5% chance over to the Pos? If he gets a triple kill here, maybe he can carry the game, but it's just so impressive. Hasmed, I just cursed him. I'm so sorry, Hasmed. You played amazingly, but you're still the Inter on the team. There's nothing we can say about that. Stats don't lie. There's 1 kill for Cerberus, and there's 1 death on the Saigon Buffalo side, and that goes to Husmet. So
Yep, Inter, filthy.
filthy indeed. There's another dragon going over to Saigon Buffalo. They just... everything is coming up Buffalo. And let's look at this fight again. It's just a stomp. It's such a huge advantage. Bean J and then Husmet. This looks so cool. I love when Nas can actually do that, because it's so smooth. He ults while still jumping over them in the transition to Mega Gnar. It just looks really cool. One of the best champs in terms of ability, design.
I also... Oh, hang on, Husmet is going in. I also think it's very funny how that Renata ult actually made Artemis's life worse. Because you do get a steroid when you get hit by a Renata ult, and there's no ally for him to hit, so he was hitting Artemis.
Yeah, 100%.
As he moves forward, smacks Poss into the wall, goes back to Mini, which is where he wants to be. Froggy on the other side of the fight is taking down Leash, but his healing is being cut. The Chempunk chainsaw nearly coming in clutch your way. I'm joking, of course, as he gets absolutely destroyed. Another tower will go down, and SGB takes a dominant game 2.
Yeah, not only a game 2. Their week has been a 4-0 week, and I can't even remember if any team has gone 4-0 so far. Maybe Cerberus in week 1, but almost every single series, we joke about this because we have an insane number of games already, but almost every single series is a 2-1. And Saigon Buffalo just comes in here this week and goes double 2-0 when no other team is able to